What's up, beautiful people? Ira McAlilly here again on PLP TV for another installment of Wellness Wednesday. Today, I have longtime friend, PLP founding member, Jamie Young, legendary, not only legendary in my life for sure, but legendary in many other places. And I'll start by just saying, here on PLP Nation, you've brought a lot of folks to the mix, which speaks to who you are on the planet. And I just want to commend you for just being that loving spirit that people trust, number one. I've been invited to a lot of sites, okay? And I don't go to most of them. But you've had a lot of people that have come through PLP Nation, and people are, getting the value that we're putting out. And you're very much a part of that. And so thank you for that. And
Thank you.
Part of bringing you on is that I just think you live a well life. I think that you, just to kind of go back for those people, I tend to get on these and say, yeah, this is somebody I've known for a long, long time, but it's true. I have some great friends that are just awesome people. And Jamie was on the very first film I did in Los Angeles when I came to LA.
1985.
1986 is what it was.
Six? Okay.
I graduated college and I came right here, and it was like literally that fall, I think. And number one, blessed to have gotten a job right away. But we worked on a film called Slam Dance, and I was the craft service guy. They gave me a van, and I can there's smells that you take you to a place. Like that smell will never leave me. That van full of snacks and stuff. But cut to, we worked on that film, didn't see you for years, and then I think it was a commercial or something.
It was, yeah.
And like
Ira.
Yeah, exactly. It was one of those things that I may not have even remembered. I'm sure I remembered your name, but it was just like the spirit, right? It was just like we knew each other, having not seen each other, and that carries through 35 years later to now, as you rep PL, peace, love, positivity, always rocking that. And I commend you and thank you for just kind of keeping me in it when I wasn't being very peaceful, loving, and positive, when I was going through divorce and different changes in my life, and I've seen you go through some things, and that's why we have to have these conversations and help each other through the dips and dives and the peaks, and so to you, just, if you want to introduce yourself, tell a bit about yourself, your history. What I was going to say, and I haven't said yet, I don't think, but when I met Jamie, he had more Jamie than he does now.
About 30 or 40 pounds. Yeah.
So, he's changed his lifestyle, and I think, he has things to share. So go ahead, King.
Way back then, born and raised a coach's son. So meat and potato boy, out 3 meals a day. Great things like Philip Fat Cat said about coaches being somebody that he looked up to. My father, my uncle, my cousins, a lot of coaches in my family. So having that male person to look up to, I had a lot of them. My dad, 20 years ago, had 72 ex-student athletes that had become teacher coaches. So quite an homage to him and what he did. When I was a kid, he'd open up the gym and we would do rope climb, standing broad jump, softball throw, football throw, 50-yard dash, all the things. And he would type up certificates for all those kids, like up to 200 kids. Wow. So his big thing back then, Norman Vincent Peale, power of positive thinking, visualization, success, so kids would always say, I can't. And my dad would say, you can do anything you set your mind to. So it was huge for me, and me being the middle son with an amazing older brother who was an awesome athlete, big, huge, barrel-chested monster of a man. I was this little skinny, freckle-faced, bald-headed kid that was, barely able to keep up, but I had a huge role model. So later in life, people said, you were an amazing athlete in pickup. Jamie and Danny can't be on the same team. And I thought, well, that makes me one of the best athletes because we can't be on the same team. And then the second part of it was because Jamie's the only fool that will try and tackle Danny. But that's the mindset I had. I was shy. I was skinny. I, tried to do my best to be something else. And for me, sports was the way to let loose. I could go out and do whatever I wanted. And the best thing my dad did was he introduced us to every sport. He was football, wrestling, and track. I did everything: swimming, baseball, ballet. He introduced us to all the sports because that makes you most well-rounded. He was football, wrestling, and track. All of his kids did all three to stay in great shape and to be well-rounded. And I found out very early that if you set your goals and drive hard, you can do anything. We were divers, springboard divers. That was the first thing I ever beat my brother in. the 12 and under, and I finally beat my brother in something. So it's been good. It's really a fabulous.
That's awesome. I'm a middle child as well, and I'm a younger brother as well.
Right.
There's still residual stuff there.
Yeah.
It's all love, though. It's all love. So next thing, like I know you. I know the things that you post. You post a lot about just like health and nutrition, and
right.
Just things that you can do, like home hacks, if you will, like things that you can do at home, on a daily basis to stay, fit, whether it be, so talk about some of those things, some of your rituals, some of the things that you do on a regular that keep you in a mindset that
absolutely
helps you at work, what I mean? Just and in play.
Yeah. Well, my realization getting into the film industry, my brother, Danny, who is amazing, actually worked at Clark's Nutrition in Riverside. And so it was all about building your body and all the nutritional things that added to that. Slam Dance was the film that we had such bad catering. I don't know if you remember. At one time, we had a 32-minute meal because 2 people went through the line. And they said, when it gets to the lamb meal, don't even go. And it was lamb, and the dessert that day was mint Jello. And what they had was green onion, mint, and Jello for the dessert. And a girl that I knew at the time that I was interested in was a vegetarian. I had always heard about vegetarianism, thought I would try it. And that was actually the catalyst for me saying, that's enough. When I broke 3 knives trying to cut through the steak, it was just like, I'm not doing this anymore. For the first time in my life, I bought a 38-inch waist, not to get my thighs into, but to get my belly into.
Wow.
So it was time for a change. So I went to vegetarianism, cut out first red meat, then chicken, then fish. They all went away. And then 6 months, then I was actually vegan for almost 29 years.
Oh, wow.
And that was back when nobody really knew about being a vegan. And what I did basically the first year and a half was starve my body because I did not do the food combining that needed to be done to get the proteins and do all that stuff. Actually, in the mid 80s, somebody one time said to me, Jamie, are you okay? It's like, what do you mean? And I was back to my high school weight of about 180. And I looked in the mirror, which I don't do often, and saw that I was skin and bones, like ribs sticking out. And in the day of AIDS, I went, I get what they're asking,
Right.
And read a book called Food Combining Made Easy by Herbert Shelton. And it was about what foods go together and when, that you don't eat certain foods with other foods. And I found out about water, drinking water, that 80% of us are dehydrated, that water intake is so important. So now for me, my daily wake up is hot water with lemon and baking soda. The very first thing I do each morning, heat my water, lemon, baking soda. I go back while the water heats, do my meditation, and just stretch, relax, deep breathing, which I love that Danya brought up, and Philip did as well, that your breathing, meditation is so important. It's all about change of season, our lives, which you brought up when you spoke about not having a Wellness Wednesday last week, that everything is in flux, everything's a change. And a lot of people with our diet, eating the same thing all the time is not good for you. You need to change it up. You need to, I advocate an occasional fast, doing a cleanse. There are many cleanses, and luckily today with our internet, you can look at things and find out. Always check with your doctor first, see what's right for you. All of us are made the same, but none of us are the same. We all have different tolerances. We all have different digestive systems. The hugest thing is your digestive system. And water is important for that. Lemon in your water helps set you up for good things. Probiotics, your belly, what you mentioned, dis and ease and disease, it comes from within. What you take in is what's going to affect your body. And the ultimate result is the better you eat, the better you'll be.
Right on.
So for me, eating organic, eating fresh vegetables, they say that 43% of us Americans are obese. 37% of us have fast food in our regular diet. So changing it up and eating different things is better for you. Live foods, live vegetables. I advocate for all of that. Biggest thing is mastication, chewing your food. My mom was a stickler for never say anything you wouldn't want said to you. And golden rule, and chew your food. She would always just stop and chew your food. And it's so true that smaller portions, chewing your food. For me, not drinking when I eat is a habit I got into. All that helps your digestion and helps you to pull the nutrients from the food for your body. So for me, that's been huge. And in our industry, as you know, we only get a few breaks now and then, and you eat because you don't know when you're going to get to again. So I still find myself eating too much, too fast, too soon.
Right.
But I also had a friend say one time, when we go in and eat, Jamie, you're always the last to leave. You don't eat, you dine. And part of that is chewing my food and taking the time to enjoy what you have, because that food feeds you, feeds your body. And like I said before, it's all about us, wellness, and what you take in, you put out. So that's what I've always loved about you from the very first time. When I got in the film industry, I started in craft service. I was a PA, craft service. I came from the restaurant business. So I knew what you were going through the first time, and your positivity drew me to you. But also the struggle of trying to feed 80 people at once, is something that some people never even dive into. So I've loved you from the beginning, and thank you for introducing me to djembe drumming. I'm on house when you said, "What are you doing tomorrow?" And I said, "Well, I'm driving down from Santa Barbara down here to Fox, then back to the Valley to drop off dollies, and then back up to Santa Barbara." And you said, "Well, if you feel like it, we're going to be banging on drums down below the Washington Pier." And I go, "What do you mean banging on drums?" You said, "Djembes, African drums." And I was like, I don't know. So when I got done with all my runs and got to a quarter-mile lineup to go north, I went, Sunset Beach, Ira? Yeah, I'll go check that out. And so the whole next season, instead of napping for an hour, you and I and whoever would join us, right. Steve was a constant. There was 3 or 4 other people that would come and join us each day, and went back to work after banging on drums for 45, 50 minutes with more energy than whenever we napped. And it was just like, there's something to this. So here in Santa Barbara, I joined the drum circle after that. Every Saturday I'm here. And, thank you so much for all your heart, for creating this Peace, Love, and Positivity, PLP Nation. Where it's gone in a year without even being able to get together, Ira, you're on the right path, and I'm so glad to be here with you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Great, like great nuggets. Number one, the chewing the food thing is something that I'm bad. And that will be a reminder for me. You know, part of this Wellness Wednesday is for myself, truthfully.
Right.
So that, you know, we get so busy, you know, in our minds, right? That, you know, finding balance is the big thing for me, because I get, you know, there was a bunch during COVID. It was great. You know, there was time, got to spend some time, but I was also just learning e-commerce. I was, you know, up every day, you know, just trying to figure out what's next. Who knows when we're going back to work, all that stuff. And building, you know, building PLP Nation, which kept me, you know, in a good state of mind, because I was, you know, as I say, get up every day, wanting to add value to somebody's life, and your life will always be blessed. And I stand by that through and through. And Absolutely. So now just, you know, helping expand that concept and helping, you know, just, and allowing myself to just give it away more, you know, and you're helping as a moderator, and, you know, just having people, just sharing the goodness of all the people that are around, and we're just scratching the surface. And it makes me appreciate my friends, you know, who, not that I didn't appreciate you guys, but just to share you with the world, you know what I mean? Like, I'm blessed to have some amazing people in my life, and to share that and the knowledge that they have with others, who then go and share it with others, you know what I mean? Like the inspire others to inspire others thing. It's not just a thing. It's that's how we change the world, right? And I always go back to being inspired by Martin Luther King Jr. and, you know, people that I was introduced to as a young person, you know, through my parents, and you know, I tell my kids, it's like, we are history, right? History is happening right now. It's like, what are you doing now that people later are going to say, wow, that was a good thing that happened then? So,
especially through all these troubled times last year, 2020, there's never been anything like this. And the lockdowns and people being sedentary, solitude, and for this group to have grown so much in that time is a testament to peace, love, and positivity. That, you know, with the lockdown and with being all the negative that was thrown at all of us, that the positive is so much more beneficial. You know, if you fall into the negative, that's where you're going to go, and that's part of disease, and that's part of, you know, if your headspace is wrong and you're always looking at the negative and worrying, it's bad for you. You know, if you can stay positive, you can be around people that are positive. If you hear a good message, if you share the positive word and lift others up. One of the best things my dad did was he had us volunteer at old folks homes as a very young child. And the other thing that I lift up so much was he had us go to disabled children and work with them. And for me as an athlete, being able to run and jump and do anything I wanted, to see the reality of, I don't want to say handicaps, they were disabilities or things that made them not able to do what we were able to do. So to see that they had the mind, the heart, the drive to be the best that they could be, lifted me up so much. My best friend, when we moved from Santa Barbara to Riverside, R.B. Longman, and he couldn't talk very well. His words were broken. Everything was down, in his physical strength was weak, but his mind was so strong. And he helped me through algebra.
wow.
And I saw him 20 years later. He was married, had a kid, and he thanked me for being his friend. I said, thank you for being my friend. You know, you helped me through so much, you know. It's those things that you can't do that others can, that help you be a better person. And that's one thing I've always loved about you, is the positivity and always just lifting others up, you know, which is something I aspire to do and try and do each and every day as well.
Right on. You accomplish that very well. And, you know, we've banded together. There's, you know, I just invite folks to, you know, participate. You know what I mean? It's like, I know there's a lot of people that benefit and, you know, just take it in, which is okay. There's no shame to that game at all. And I know that there are people that sometimes hesitate because they don't feel like it's their place. And I'm just going to say, it's your place. You know what I mean? This is your place. This is the place. If you have people that you want us to highlight that are doing positive things, shoot me a message, because I'll put people on here. We'll highlight the things that they're doing. We'll share that with the community. Brent Jones, we that film, and I learned through all of it, like during, we had the conversation, but because of the subject matter of the film, and because we had just put up a notice, no religious post and all that, it was just like,
right.
In my mind, I was conflicted about, like, how do I present this, right? And sometimes people post things that I don't know about, and I'm like, okay, I got to figure out how to, And
I think one of the biggest things when you say no religious posts, religion is a lot of positivity for a lot of people,
right?
And there are so many different religions for a reason that if there was just one, it wouldn't work for everybody. There are so many different religions because we're all so different that if you find the one that works for you, that's the right thing. And when you talking about addiction, which hits home to me, to Stephen Rausch, to a lot of people, especially in this day and age, that, it's not something that needs to be buried. It needs to be lifted up and spoken about, because it touches us all in this day and age.
Absolutely. And you were going to say something, I think, just in terms of the just the religious, talking about the film, talking about Bobby Joe. Is Bobby Joe, what's the tagline? Bobby Joe, shoot.
I'm blanking too. I'm sorry.
So there's a lot more to the title, and I apologize, Brant, for not knowing it. But it's about addiction. And the thing that pulls her out is her Christian faith. And so I guess basically what we're saying is, in terms of religious posts, like when you post about like your religion being the only religion, or that's where I think the line is drawn. I mean, there are people like I'll put up quotes by the president of the Buddhist organization that I belong to. There are plenty of teachers in history that, as you said, have spoken to different groups of people. Absolutely. To get them to a place of understanding things that are beyond human, right? So I think that's all great. It's when people try to proselytize, I think is the word, or put down people from a religious perspective. It just gets into a gray area. And we do this on the side, like we go to work every day. So, to avoid the conversations and people being offended and the back and forth that happens in a lot of spaces on Facebook, we've been fortunate in that we haven't had that. We haven't had that for months, like since the very beginning.
Well, when it gets into argument and he said, she said, we're not all about that. And luckily there hasn't really been that much in our group, which is a blessing. And, there are so many different religions and they reach us for different reasons. And that's not a bad thing. We just don't want the negativity of mine's the only one or things like that.
My God's better than your God. Right?
Yeah. And luckily we've been able to avoid that.
Right. So. Absolutely. And be able to start to have conversations about it like this, So that interview with Brent was great in that, we were able to talk about how, Christianity influenced her without it being about anybody becoming a Christian. Yeah.
And it wasn't just about Christianity.
It was not at all. Oh my God.
That was one of the tools that got her to where she needed to be, which is what I liked about what Alan Shobin was saying too, and FitCat and Danya, that another book I wanted to mention was The Healer Within. And it's about working to your limitations. If you're hurt, which I found out, I was bragging earlier about being an athlete and a coach's son. I had both my knees blown out in junior college. So I went from a superstar athlete to not being able to walk.
Wow.
So there are limitations that you have to learn to work within. And in that book, they talk about breathing is number one. And with all meditation, it all comes from breath. So when Danya said breathing to your stomach and filling your stomach with air, that was one of the things that one of my first therapists taught me. So bringing it in and working within your limitations. If you can only bring it to here, that's as far as you take it. And if it hurts, stop. That is a warning point, you know. So push as far as you can, but don't hurt yourself. But the big thing is to keep trying, to keep doing it. Repetition and moving forward helps so much. FitCat talked a lot about that, you know, and just do what you can do and build upon that. And that was something that my dad showed a lot of kids, that if you can't do it at the beginning, watch your progress. You know, you're going to be able to do this much, then it's going to build on that, and you'll do this much, and you're going to get better. And to see a kid that couldn't climb a rope, you know, 1 or 2 handfuls, to be able to climb up 25 feet and touch the bell, you know, it was huge, you know. And the human body is amazing, and that's why I love dance. I love music. All those things with movement, you know, is something that fits with me. As being a dolly grip, people go, how do you time that? And it's because of the dance background and watching others, and as a DB, defensive back, matching the movement and moving with and against somebody that put me a step ahead of everybody, you know, because I was able to do the timing and know before they moved where they were going.
Right. And it's interesting because there's so much about our lives that is rhythm. You know what I mean? Like, that's why we resonate to drumming. I grew up as a dancer, you know, and so like even down to like, this is kind of random, but when I am as a prop master, sometimes I have to pour beer, I have to pour something, and I can feel the rhythm of how long I pour to match the height of liquids, right?
Exactly.
Because I hear glug, 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 it becomes a song, like almost, and I can like feel that rhythm. And you know, when I'm doing things in repetition, I can match that because of the rhythm of it, because I get 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, you know what I mean? Like that's, you know, so, but that's all a part of our wellness. Like people, you know, there's so much more than just eating right. There's so much more than, you know, just, but it's all together. It's all those things working together and finding the balance.
Which brings up something else I want to say, that doing the same thing all the time is not good for you either. That changing it up, and that's why I said before about maybe doing a fast and stop eating something for a while. Don't take those vitamins for a week. You know, change is better for your system. And it's funny when you were saying on timing, on Mandalorian the first time, we did very few dolly shots. And one of the very first dolly shot I got to do, they said, okay, this is going to be like time lapse. You have to try and match it. Do you want us to count it out for you? And I said, no, that's okay. I got it. And they go, well, we need this to be about 12 seconds long. I said, no problem. So I did the first push, and he said that was 12.01 seconds. That was pretty close. And so the most I was off was almost like 0.3 of a second on 11 different pushes.
That's great.
So they said that was pretty much time-lapse photography, you know. And so sense of timing, you know, it's something, we all have a heartbeat. We all, and you just have to be aware of it and build on it.
Right. Awareness is big. Is being aware of self is big on all levels, right? And you know, that, you know, all that leads to taking responsibility for self, you know, and, you know, even the bad things that happen to you, just take responsibility. Because
and one of the first things I realized with you too is awareness of others, that we all have a sense of self and we take care of ourselves, but how we fit together and work together. That's one thing I love about the movie industry. People ask me about the movie industry, and I said, most everyone is semi-intelligent, semi-artistic, and fun to be around. You know, we all have something to bring. And it's a team effort, you know, so building others and letting them do what they do brings us together to be that much better, which is what PLP is all about.
Absolutely. And everybody plays a role, and it can happen in different places. So, you know, that's what I love about, there's just such a diverse group of people. Like, I don't know people's political affiliation. I don't know the religious background, but I do know that we meet on the peace, love, positivity thing. And that is, to me, that's universal. It's like, and I would just say, if you can create peace, spread love, and generate positivity as a result of everything that you do, like that alone will change the world.
Absolutely.
So, We should wrap it up. This has been great. You'll come back. We'll have more conversations. We'll,
Absolutely.
I have a feeling this conversation between you and I will become more about like a check-in chat about PLP Nation and where it's at and where we're going and like kind of the overall picture, because we've talked about like some plans that, we have, for just this
progress and future. Yeah.
Progress, some of the things, we're starting to educate ourselves about houselessness or, unhoused youth, and
education for kids and
yes, and
building them up,
humanity,
letting them know that no matter where they start in life,
right,
it gets better. Yeah,
absolutely. And, humanity classes in preschool, I think are, that's a big thing that I want to do, because if kids didn't come away with, I have to be like that person, or I have to have that thing, or just the sense that we're all others, and that, the variety that's gumbo, like that tastes good. Right. So to be able to put that into the play of, kids, so that, and I know it's happening more and more. I was just in a dance class this morning. It was a movement meditation class this morning in the park in Santa Monica. And, there's a lot of conversation with people that I've known forever that we haven't been able to see each other. But, just that understanding that, we're all in this together, number one, and that there is so much benefit in just all the different variety of folks that we have. And just that's why this Wellness Wednesday is good, because you bring something to the table that might resonate with somebody, and they're like, wait, I gotta get in touch with Jamie to find out more and go deeper. Or somebody might say, oh, I like Danya's class, and like I got to take one class for free, and now I'm gonna like be one of her regulars. You know what I mean? And people that are seeking those things that like help them get through mentally, physically, spiritually, like we can be that hub. The next step for me is, and we talked about this, is the website. That can be where people can go to like click on, I want that, where can I, get a performance, where can I, all of that, where can I just get a positive word because I'm going through something, you know what I mean?
When you said earlier too about your dance class, I would love to join you with those people you've been dancing with for 30 years. One of these times I would love to come down and just be part of that. And when you were talking earlier about Danya and FitCat and Alan as well, that we touched on a lot of the same things, but as you said, certain people say it a certain way, or especially with kids, if you find somebody that you can look up to and somebody that says something that resonates in your heart, that's going to make you push to go and try more and do what's right. And the biggest thing is uplifting kids, especially those that are hurting or in trouble, that they don't know that they're okay until you let them know that they're okay, and it does get better.
Right.
Life is a process. You and I both, we've shared with each other through a lot of troubled times, through the hard times, sadly through divorce, making our kids a priority, giving up work to make sure that they're okay, working more to make sure that they're okay. Everything is a balance, and life has seasons for a reason. And that's why PLP and the positivity is such a plus for so many people, and I love wearing the hat. It's been my badge, like you said before, it's my badge of courage.
Right.
When people ask, oh, peace, love, and what's that for? Positivity. Oh, that makes sense. It's just, it's such a blessing, and I love you, my brother. I love sharing with people, and that's part of why I wear the badges and enjoy what we do and what our future brings.
Exactly. And so thank you. And that says it. I won't say it says it all, because there's more to be said that we will say later. But for today, that is our Wellness Wednesday. And I just hope that everybody comes away with some added value, and then can take that and say, you know what, let me go add value to somebody else's life, because that is how we continue to grow, and how we continue to unite, and how we continue to be well,
So, I love the one post when you said, hi, I'm Ira McAlilly, because because you had done many of the videos and stuff before. When earlier you said you want to introduce yourself, this is actually my introduction to a lot of people at PLP Nation. Hi, I'm Jamie, guys. So when you did that the first time, I went, oh yeah, I know him. So I just loved all of your videos. But hi, guys, I am Jamie Young. I'm here with my brother Ira McAlilly, and we're here for you. So much love, my brother.
Absolutely. Yep. Put a face to the name, because you see posts all the time. Every day. It's like, who is that guy? And that's part of what this is about, introducing us to each other. And with that, go well, enjoy the rest of your day. And for some reason, your picture just went away, which means it's time to wrap it up. Thank you and peace.
Peace, my brother. I love you.
Love you too.
That was Bailey ringing in. My son calling me right now.
Awesome. And Bailey is Jamie's son. So with that, we will go. And wait, here's my son.
Is he there? Yeah. What's up, my brother? How are you?
Son Miles, what's up?
Oh, what a treat.
Out the frame now? No, I'm in the frame.
All right.
Perfect.
Peace out.
Love you, bro.